Welcome to the web interviews again. This is Anthony Cavino from the gallery at the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center, and I am here with my good friend Vita Rose, and I will be interviewing her and asking her some questions tonight. Tell us a little about yourself, Vita. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Arlington, Virginia, and then when I was 8, we moved to Stonington, and so I grew up in Stonington.
Gotcha. Where did you go to school?
I went to Stonington Public Schools, and then when I was a sophomore in high school, I was interested in art, so decided to go to NFA, and then college up in Boston.
Oh. What did you study in college?
Psychology.
Psychology. Interesting major.
Yep.
How did you first become involved in the field of special education?
Well, both my parents are educators, and I was a little bit of a rebellious teen, and so in the ultimate act of rebellion, when they told me at 19 or 20 that I could do anything other than be an educator, I decided to become an educator.
That is the ultimate act of rebellion. How did you get involved with the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center in particular?
Oh boy. Well, so my mother was an educator. She taught special ed, and she worked at Little White Schoolhouse, which anybody that knows Lighthouse knows a little bit about Little White Schoolhouse. And I met Kathy Green when she was there. Kathy Green and Kathy O'Brien, in my mind, were in charge of the pool at Little White Schoolhouse, and so that's how I met Kathy. And then when I became a teacher and was working in East Lyme, Kathy would come every year and say, you know, are you ready to come on over to Lighthouse? And I would always say, no, I'm not ready. I want to get a little bit more experience in the public education field. And then eventually I kind of got worn out on the public education front, and so I decided to come over here to Lighthouse, and so that's how I got involved in Lighthouse.
And I understand that over the years of being involved with the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center, you've risen to the position of Director of Operations.
Yes.
What challenges are presented to you in coming into a position of management over a company with a 20-year history? Many
challenges. We are a nonprofit, and 20 years is pretty young for a nonprofit. I think that there are a lot of systems that were in place where we had you know, we were kind of doing what we needed to do to get to the next year. And now in our 20th year, Kathy and I are really working on trying to define what it is that we're doing, to kind of get ourselves into a more defined spot of what Lighthouse is and what Lighthouse is going to be. So that's kind of the biggest challenge. And then in the day-to-day operations, which is what Kathy kept telling me was my job, like that was what I was supposed to be taking care of, was the day-to-day operations. There's just a lot to do. There's a lot of paper.
There's a lot of things that happen day-to-day at Lighthouse.
Yes, and there's a lot to manage and to keep up with. You know, in each site there's a lot going on. So then when you're kind of overseeing all the sites, it just kind of grows exponentially.
I can only imagine. As Lighthouse nears its 20th year anniversary, what changes would you personally like to see take effect?
One thing that I really want to have more of at Lighthouse is technology. I think technology is really important, and I think that it is something that will allow the students and the other people that we have that take advantage of our programs to be a part of the kind of global community that's happening through technology. So that's one big thing. And then a sort of a mind shift of people feeling like, as a part of Lighthouse, that they have an impact on what happens in Lighthouse and how Lighthouse sort of moves or grows or develops, I think would be the best word.
Yeah. Do you have any role models, and how do they inspire you on a day-to-day basis?
I have many role models.
Name your top role model.
Top role model. Oh, I don't even know.
All right, pick 3.
Okay. So there are people that I look up to and people that I look up to for different things. I'm going to lump both of my grandmothers into one.
There you go.
I'm cheating. Both of my grandmothers were very kind of powerful women, and they ran their families, and they had an impact on their communities. So they are my role models. My mother as well is a big role model in my life. Being that she's an educator, I have gleaned a lot of what I know and how I feel about education from her. And as an artist, because I like art a lot, I don't know that I would consider her a role model because she's kind of crazy, but my favorite artist is Frida Kahlo. And she was a person who, or a painter who painted her own reality. And she very much tried to impart her own view of things. And I think that that is, you know, bringing your own unique view to the world and sharing it with the world is something only I can do from my perspective, only you can do from your perspective.
Definitely.
And that's a powerful thing.
What would you say are your words to live by?
Oh, I have a couple. I think one of my words to live by, or one of my sort of phrases to live by, would be that you're not made up of your accomplishments and your, I don't want to say failures, but your struggles, but rather you're made up of what it is that you do with your accomplishments and your struggles, you know, however you work through them. Another one of my mottos to live by would definitely be breathe first, then speak. I may not be following it very well right now.
Hey, it's definitely a good motto nonetheless.
And I think another thing that I try to do, and I don't know that there's really like a tagline for it, but to look at things from every perspective. You know, my perspective looking at something would be very different than a person that I'm working with's perspective, or somebody who I'm supervising, or somebody who is above me in my position. And I think that that's something that carries throughout your personal life as well as your work life and social life.
Definitely. So. Well, I certainly learned a lot about my friend Vita Rose today. And this is Anthony Cavino from the Gallery at Lighthouse signing out.